The biggest takeaway is that it's a victory for the mayor.
The recall effort against Mayor LaToya Cantrell fails to get enough verified signatures. The mayor thanked the residents of New Orleans for trusting in her leadership and says her administration remains focused on addressing the pressing issues facing the city.
Meanwhile, recall organizers say they're exploring all their legal options. Good evening, I'm Lauren McCoy.
And I'm Meg Gatto. The governor says the Orleans Registrar of Voters verified more than 27,000 names, well below the nearly 45,000 needed to trigger a recall election.
More than 67,000 signatures were turned in, but around 39,000 were deemed invalid. The signatures were delivered in 2 batches. The first, delivered on the deadline day, had a failure rate of around 21%, and the second batch was delivered 5 days later during a grace period when electors could add or remove their names from the petition. That batch had a failure rate of around 99%. Maddie Kurth explains what could have caused this drastic difference.
Judgment day for the No LaToya recall petition, and the Registrar of Voters tells Governor John Bel Edwards the threshold was not met. Registrar Sandra Wilson says the recall effort collected more than 67,000 signatures, but only 27,243 were qualified electors from Orleans Parish. Nearly 45,000 were needed to trigger a recall election.
Generally, this is really kind of unprecedented in terms of how many signatures were tossed out for such a large position, for such a large number of signatures handed in. So in that way, it is very odd and quite unusual.
Documents from the registrar's office show signatures were submitted in 2 batches. The first on the original Ash Wednesday deadline and the second 5 days later. From the first batch, about 80% of the electors were accepted. From the second, less than 1%. Only 24 out of more than 32,000 verified. The second batch was turned in during a 5-day grace period after the initial deadline day. Recall election expert Joshua Spivak says the names in the second batch could have been dated outside of the 5-day window, a possible contradiction of state law.
It sounds like that extra 5-day window, this grace period, it's not even clear what to call it, this add strike period, is only for signatures collected during that period.
The No LaToya recall effort released a statement saying they are exploring all legal options. Fox 8 legal analyst Joe Responti says one option could be another writ of mandamus.
Tell us why you excluded those signatures and what method did you rely on to do that?
I don't want to leave.
The recall's legal effort could challenge the reading of the law.
Maybe a good lawyer, a good case could be made that they had extra time, that the way the law is written is a little more ambiguous. But there seemed to be that this extra 5-day period is just for signatures collected afterward.
The recall campaign could also call on Registrar Sandra Wilson to show them how she came to the final signature count.
Obviously, they need the transparency to come from that office to find out what it was that caused all of those other ones to be thrown out. Because if they would have been accepted at the same rate as the first bunch, they would have made the threshold.
Questions remain on the future of pending lawsuits from the mayor's office against recall campaign organizers. Responti says that case could be moot now, and one lawyer for the recall organizers tells me they are still waiting to be served, but the mayor's attorneys say they will be moving forward. Lauren, back to you.
All right, Maddie, thank you. Dillard University political analyst Dr. Robert Collins says he believes the average voter just wanted this to be resolved, but he does expect to see another round of litigation.
So I think the average voter, ideally wanted this to be just resolved this week one way or another. Either yes, we know we're going to have a recall, or no, the recall failed and that's the end of it. So I think that's what the average voter just wanted to know, something one way or another. But that's probably not what's going to happen. You probably are going to have another round of litigation, simply because the numbers on that second batch are simply so strange.